Hello and welcome to the Food Technology Program Info Session. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. My name is Erin and I am one of the marketing coordinators with the School of Health Sciences at BCIT. And I'm also going to introduce you to Erin Friesen, the other Erin, and she's the program head for our food technology program. So she'll be talking about the program with you this evening. And I just want to start by saying that the British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam. And since we're all on Zoom tonight, we're probably coming from other territories as well. We're maybe at home, maybe at school, maybe at our workplaces, maybe out somewhere. So I personally, this evening, am coming from the Quequitlam territory. So if you want to take a moment to acknowledge to yourself what territory you're coming from as well, that would be wonderful. Thank you. So our agenda this evening, first we're doing our welcome and introductions. That's what we're doing right now. I'm going to share a little video about our food technology program, and then we're going to go into a presentation and program overview from Erin Friesen. And we're going to have some information about admissions and program advising, and then we're going to have some Q&A at the end. So as we go along, you're welcome to type questions into the chat window, or you can hold those questions towards the end and we can answer them then. But the chat window is the best way to kind of post your questions if you have them. So I'm going to actually switch to a different window and I'm going to share this video off of YouTube because that tends to work a lot better for me.
Great job.
We have been making wines and today we finally get to bottle it and drink it and have different flavors that different groups made. I chose food tech because you get to learn everything about food, which is like so exciting. I love being at BCIT and being part of this program.
Basically, food technology helps students work with food manufacturers to make food that is safe to eat and is of high quality. So here at BCIT, we teach the food technology students how to develop and implement the food safety and quality systems that are going to run. And we also teach them the various test methods for supporting those food safety and quality programs. Students that graduate in food technology work with food safety programs, and so they're trained to develop and implement them. These are very significant programs now for the food industry. And so our students are really capable of carrying those programs on and expanding them.
At the packaging line, we have to make sure that the product is at its highest quality and also that we're producing at the most efficient rate. So I love my job because I get to control the quality of the product and to meet the highest standards. When I started in the food industry, I realized that what I learned in the program actually is what I'm going to do. So you're prepared for the job.
The best kind of student for food technology is somebody that really cares about food. So somebody that might like to experiment with food, producing it and working with it. Just being that close to the food that we're producing, it really makes you feel good about what you do for a living.
So Erin, should we do a little poll?
Yes, you may have gotten a little bit of a heads up of what food technology is about through that video, but here is a poll question for you.
This will see if you were watching it. So all of these are things that food technologists may do except develop a vegan cream cheese, measure vitamin C levels in orange juice, recommended diet for an elderly spelled wrong patient with diabetes, inspect a pasta manufacturing facility. So which one would a food technologist not do? Erin, what do you think? Did we all get it right?
They all passed. You guys are all excellent food technologists, but I would still encourage you to take the program. There's still lots more to learn. So yes, in food technology, we do a variety of things. We look at how foods are developed. We also analyze foods. So measuring vitamins is just one particular thing you could analyze in a food. We do inspections. So you could be working for the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and going into facilities and making sure that a company is following the appropriate procedures. but we do not recommend diets. So we might analyze food for nutrients, and we do develop the labels for food packaging, but we stop there and we don't make recommendations for people that would be a dietitian or nutrition that follows that path. What is food technology? First of all, I want to thank you for attending tonight. Food technology is understanding how foods are made, how foods are processed, what goes into foods, how you would analyze foods. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is make sure that the foods that people are consuming, whether it's the foods that they're buying from grocery stores or obtaining from other means, that the foods are safe to eat. And not only that, that they are maintaining a high quality. A company, first of all, doesn't want to have a food outbreak. So whether that's E. coli or Listeria, they want to make sure that the food is safe to consume. But they also want to be making sure that when you're going and buying the product, that the product is very consistent. So if you're buying potato chips, for example, that those potato chips are crunchy and you're not noticing a difference when you buy one batch to another batch. So in the food technology program, we take students through the manufacturing process, and we try and expose you to as many different processes as we can. So we have a production facility where we manufacture foods, and then in a variety of other courses, whether it's food analysis or quality control or product development, we will be analyzing these foods and developing new foods. We do food microbiology, so we're also testing the foods for pathogens. And so there's a variety of things that go into food technology. And for the most part, our students end up working in a food manufacturing facility, either in food safety or in product development. So is food technology for you? So first thing I would say is, are you curious and fascinated by the science behind food? And one of the things I find quite interesting is that, you know, every food is quite different. And so even though I've been in food industry for a while now, I'm still constantly learning new things, because every food, you have to think about it as a different item. You also need to be process oriented and accurate, because maintaining documents and making sure things are being done in a particular way is very important to food safety. You have to be able to work independently as well as part of a team. So a good portion of your job when you're working as a food technologist would be your own work. However, you are part of a larger group of people in a food manufacturing facility, so you have to report both to management, as well as you're going to have to make sure that the people on the production floor themselves are following certain procedures. And you need to be interested in working in an exciting and fast-paced environment. So things are always changing in the food industry, whether equipment's breaking down or you're getting new ingredients or regulations are changing. Everything does change quite frequently in the food industry. So what do you need to get in? Our program is designed to be entry from high school with certain requirements, which we'll look at in a few slides. You do need to have an aptitude for science, because at our foundation, we do want to understand the science of food. And you need to be interested in learning more about food and helping make sure that the food we're eating is the best it can be. So that's both safe as well as high quality. Now, even though high school graduation is the minimum requirement, we do have a large number of students who come from a variety of different education paths. So if you do have a bachelor's degree, for example, there will be other students in the program that do have higher levels of education as well. So program overview, as I've highlighted, we're training students in the basics of food technology, or you may also refer to as food science. And what that includes is we look at food processing, we look at quality control, we do food analysis, food testing, and food development. We are a 2-year program, so it's full-time here at the Burnaby campus. And so that would be most the daytime, 5 days a week. And it's a diploma program. So at the end of the 2 years, you would be awarded a diploma in food technology. And there are laddering opportunities if you're interested in that, which I will talk about later. And just before I guess I go on to the next point, we do have other options in the food technology program beyond the diploma, but most of what I'll be talking about right now is the diploma. And then if you're interested in other options, I'll highlight that a little bit later in the presentation. The diploma is a combination of lectures and labs, and I would say about 40% of the time is, maybe even less, 40 to 30% of the time is lectures, whereas the remainder portion of the time is labs, where we provide you theory, hands-on, we bring in guest lectures, we have field trips, but a lot of lab work where you're getting to actually see the theory in action. We also have an industry project and a product development course. So there's 2 capstone projects in this course or in this program. With the industry sponsored project for the second year of the diploma, we'll be pairing you with an industry partner, and it's up to you to choose your particular project. So if there's certain area of food technology that interests you more, we'll pair you up with a food company, and then you would be trying to solve a problem for the food company. So whether it's they want a new product developed, whether they want you to analyze their competitor, whether they're interested in their shelf life or extending their shelf life, if they want to examine a new ingredient, these are some of the types of projects that students will work on. And then we also have the product development project where you will be designing a new project and looking at the business side, the safety side, sourcing ingredients. And at the end of that particular project, you will have an actual product that you've developed. So those are just 2 of the major projects that we do that give you applied learning opportunities. So as I mentioned, we do have other options. So most of what I'll be speaking about tonight is our diploma, so the 2-year program full-time, but we do have some flexible learning options. And just talking about a few of those, our BCIT Food Safety Associate Certificate is about 7 or 8 courses. It really depends on what electives you want to take. But it focuses more so just on the food safety aspect. So developing a HACCP plan or a food safety plan, and then a few business courses that go along with it. And so this Food Safety Associate Certificate, I would say our target audience is more people who have already worked in the food industry or have some experience, because we're not teaching you about the fundamentals about food technology or food science. So we're expecting that you do have some knowledge in food before taking the Food Safety Associate Certificate, but it is an excellent choice for somebody who's looking to upgrade or receive more training in food safety. Now, similarly, we also have a UBC BCIT Food Safety Management micro-credential, and that is a 4-course program. And that particular program also is geared towards people who are already in the food industry or have some experience with food. And then we're training you on food safety. And so once again, just topping up your food safety knowledge, which could then lead to more advancement within your current company, or if you're interested in applying for another job. And at the smaller end here, we have a 2-course BCIT Food Safety and Preventions or Preventative Controls micro-credential. And so that's just a 2-course micro-credential on HACCP in particular. So if you are working for a company or want to get additional HACCP training, that particular micro-credential will be providing you specific knowledge in food safety. But our flexible learning, as I mentioned, are geared towards people who do have a little bit of food knowledge, or maybe you have a degree and you're looking to train in food industry. But if you have no knowledge about food or looking to really dive into the food industry, I'd recommend the diploma as the program to look at. So career outlook, most of our grads in the food technology program get work within 2 months of graduation. In British Columbia, the types of food industries we have really vary from quite small mom and pop businesses with less than 20 employees to larger food companies that have 300 employees. And so our grads will work within these facilities and ensure that the food that's being produced and as it's leaving the facility is both safe and high quality. However, you can also get a job on the inspection side and be ensuring that the food manufacturing facilities are also producing these high quality products. With the program, the Food Technology Diploma, you'll be very experienced with different skills that the employers are looking for. And that's what we hear from industry about our grads, is that they're very prepared to work in the food industry. So just a profile here of some of our previous grads. Andrew and Elia and Ariella are the students on the left of the picture here, and then the other individuals, one of the siblings of these students. But these are grads from 10 years ago, I would say, and while they were in the food technology program, they developed a product as part of their product development project. And they started by looking at fermented chickpeas was where they started with their product. And they went on to compete in a national product development contest. They unfortunately did not win that national contest, but it was enough to encourage them to start their own company. And they have now been in business for, I believe at least 5 years now, where they're producing tempeh and it's being sold in a large number of grocery stores in the Vancouver Lower Mainland and possibly beyond that. So Tempeh is the name of the company that they've launched as a result of the product that they developed while they were students here at BCIT. And here's a testimonial from another student who graduated a few years ago. And what Andrew had to say, he said, "I chose to study food technology at BCIT because I wanted to utilize both my past educational experiences in science and my interest in cooking. As with most programs at BCIT, the practical labs were the most enjoyable aspect, but I also really enjoyed the product development course in my second year, which I am aiming for later in my career." So Andrew, quite quickly after graduation, got employed in a produce company. And so he's ensuring that the company who's producing lettuce that you might be finding in restaurants, as well as bag salad, and they do a number of other produce. But he's working there ensuring that the produce is being manufactured high quality and safe. So he's working in the quality department there. So regarding admissions information, now our program opens for registration in October and the actual program starts in September. So applications are currently still being taken right now for our September 2024 program. Our program is first applied and first qualified do obtain seats. So we recommend that you apply earlier rather than later, because if you wait till September or close to September, there may not be seats available if we've had enough applicants who are qualified to enter the program. So the application process, once you submit your informations, you will submit the applications, which that get converted to PDF, and you will be doing this through BCIT/apply to apply for the program.
I just wanted to make a note there, Aaron, if I could.
Yeah.
Many of you, if you're been recently in post-secondary or if you're currently in high school, you may have be familiar with My Education Planner. Most post-secondaries do have you apply through My Education Planner. BCIT is not yet part of that platform. So we are a bit different in that you do have to apply at bcit.ca specifically. So please do remember that when you're putting your application in. Back to you.
Thank you. So our entrance requirements, we require English Studies 12 with 67%. We also require Chemistry 11 with 67%. And we do require a Math 12 course, whether that's Pre-Calculus 12 or Foundations of Math 12. And then the grade differs depending on which math course you've taken. We do have a number of students who come from a variety of different countries who apply to food technology. So we recognize that you may not have this, exactly what we're looking for with the entry requirements, but there are a number of ways that you can enter with, different English entry requirements. And if you're entering with different chemistry or math, your credentials will be evaluated. And so you may still meet the required entry requirements. If you have questions, that's where program advising or program advising can help examine if you've met our entry requirements. As far as skills to be successful in the program, strong communication skills, there are 3 communication courses that you'll be taking, and you'll be producing reports at the end of the program. You need to have an interest in analytical work because there is a good amount of lab work involved in this particular program. You need to be able to pay attention to detail, be able to solve problems and make decisions. And then there is a large number of teamwork and people skills required to be successful in this profession. So laddering opportunities, we are a 2-year diploma. And if you do want to continue on and do additional studies, this program ladders into 2 different programs. It actually ladders into more programs than just the 2 programs, but I would recommend these 2 programs as they will likely more meet your career path or where you would like to go. So the 2-year diploma in food technology, there's a large number of jobs available, and our graduates have no problem finding jobs at the end of the 2 years. Some students do want to go on and obtain additional studies, and where some of our students go is the Bachelor's of Environmental Public Health, which is also a 2-year program at BCIT. And very similar overlap to the food industry, but this one, in that particular program, you'd be doing inspection, and not only just inspecting food industry, but also restaurants, and beauty salons and tattoo parlors, and a large number of other places you'd be inspecting beyond just the food industry. And the second path that you could take is a Bachelor's of Business Administration. It's a one-year accelerated bachelor's, and this particular program is if you wanted to focus more on the business aspect in the food industry. So whether that's assessing new suppliers, managing the food facility, managing customer relationships, the Bachelor of Business Administration might be an option that you want to consider after your after your diploma in food technology. So different options, different career paths, and then there are some other bachelors that you could complete as well. And then if you wanted to go beyond this and do a master's degree, there's masters available in other schools, as well as you could go on to do an MBA. There are options to ladder up beyond just a bachelor's degree if you'd like. Erin, I believe this is you.
Yes, I can speak to this one. So we've talked a lot about how to get into BCIT, but once you're in BCIT, we want you to know that we want to continue supporting your success as a student here. So we have a number of different banners on the slide here to talk about different ways we support students at BCIT. The first is Indigenous Initiatives. Indigenous Initiatives offers a very welcome gathering place on our Burnaby campus. They have information on Indigenous funding and Indigenous supports. They're a great way to kind of ease that transition into your first year of studies if you have an Indigenous background. Also, they have elders on staff for people who are either interested in Indigenous issues or who want to connect with their heritage there. We have Student Financial Aid and Awards, excuse me, information on scholarships, bursaries, and financial aid. They can connect you with where to apply for funding and how to apply for funding. Accessibility services is for students who have a temporary or longer-term disability that may need accommodation while they're a student at BCIT. If you're a student who maybe had an IEP when you were in high school or used accessibility services at another post-secondary, this might be for you. All of their services are confidential. The only things that get back to the instructors or your faculty is the accommodation you need, not why you need it. So they're a great service, and they've got many years of experience there. We also have Student Health Services, which is one of my favorites. I think this is a great resource that we have at BCIT. We have a full service student health clinic on campus in Burnaby. There's doctors on staff, nurses. It's not a walk-in clinic. You do need to make an appointment, but you can often get an appointment same day or the next day, so it's quite quick. It's a great resource if you don't have time to see your GP, you can't get into your GP in a timely manner, or if you just don't have a GP, like many people at BC right now. In that same building, we also have counseling and student development. Counseling is available for all students to talk about both school issues and personal issues. And finally, we have recreation services, which is also another great resource. There's fitness classes in the morning before school, after school, lunchtime. There's a full service gym, weight room, cardio machines. We have intramurals. You can rent equipment from them. So it's a great way to kind of keep track of your physical health and burn off some steam or some stress while you're in school. If you have any questions today after our presentation, we recommend that you contact program advising. One of our program advisors is actually on the call today, and she's ready to answer your questions if you have any. And our program advisors can support you with the application and admissions process, help you look at your transcripts and make sure you have all the prerequisites that you need. Their current hours and times are available at bcit.ca/advising, so check that out, please. And now that you've learned about food technology, we'd love it if you would also give our health sciences as a whole a follow or a like on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And following one of our channels or many of our channels is a great way to kind of learn about student life at BCIT, what's new with our programs, what our students are up to, what people are learning, and some exciting events happening on campus as well. And more specifically, Food Tech itself is on Instagram at BCIT Food Tech. So you can see from this screenshot, they have a lot of yummy looking food items on display, but also a lot of smiling faces. So it's a great way to see kind of what really goes on in the program. And this is, I think, one of the best resources when you're trying to decide what you want to do for schooling is going through an Instagram account of what students have been posting through the past year. So please do check that out.
One more option, if you don't mind me mentioning, is that if you're interested in attending classes, BCIT also has Student for a Day. Actually, it's on the slide here. So
Yes,
there we go. Spend a
it
day.
is.
So whether it's food technology or other programs, you do have the option to join maybe the first years or the second years and tag along with them and see what a typical day in the life of a student is.
Yes, so our Spend a Day program, and you can definitely register for that online or email one of us directly, and we can set you up with that. We also have campus tours, info sessions like this one. We've got a number of other info sessions happening in the next few days, and as I mentioned, program advising. So now I'll take it to some questions and answers, and you guys have been very quiet in the chat. I don't see any questions being posted there. We are a fairly small group tonight, so if someone would like to unmute and ask a question that way, that is totally okay too. So we'll give you a minute to see if anyone wants to type a question in or unmute themselves.
And I just would like to add, with our services, we did take out the telephone service and we have more virtual advising, therefore it's more interactive so we can show students what sort of tools we have and building off the entrance requirements. Many of you may think that you haven't met the entrance requirements. Surprisingly, you have based on your previous education. So if you'd like to connect with program advising and see how you've met those entrance requirements, we will provide you the tools necessary to self-assess.
Yes, that's great. Advising is certainly a great resource when you're preparing your application and making those decisions.
If nobody has questions, you're always welcome to email me and set up a Zoom call personally if you want to have any additional questions. There we go. There's my email. Please email me if you want to chat to me about food technology, whether you think it's the right fit. A good way to see if it is a good fit, as the other Erin mentioned, is check out the Instagram pages, whether it's this program or another program, and you get an idea of what activities they might be doing in the particular program.
Okay, you guys are still very quiet.
We must have answered everything.
We must have been very thorough.
Erin, are there any other questions that you sometimes get from the info sessions? Just trying to think.
Usually I find most of the questions are related to whether they've met the entry requirements, because I know our students do come from a variety of different, whether it's countries or educational backgrounds, and that's usually what the questions are that we see at the info sessions.
Yes, and also to our email advising or the emails that we receive in regard to this program is the chemistry requirement. Now, we don't offer that at BCIT. You can't take Chemistry 11 with us, but there are upgrading options. You're able to take it through your local school district. You can also take it through Online Learning BC, where they have a database that includes all of the institutions in BC, and that way you get a credential from the BC Education Ministry. You're able to upgrade through another college or institution that's offering that course as well. And again, if you are too shy to ask away what the entrance requirements are, you can put in the chat or email us at program_advising@bcit.ca.
And Richa, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the upgrading Chemistry 11 through your local school district, I've heard that your local school district actually offers those high school courses for free now.
Yes, that's correct. To domestic and Canadian citizens, yes.
Yeah. So if you're a Canadian citizen and you're living in your local school district, best way to do it really, I mean, how can you beat free for upgrading your Chemistry 11? So that's a great way to go.
While you're upgrading, it's important to keep in mind of the application deadline dates as well, or the application date itself. Yeah. For
sure. Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate you taking the time out this evening to be with us online and I'm sorry, I just checked to see that was a question. No, it was Jessica saying thank you. So wonderful. Really appreciate it again. And again, we will be sending you a copy of the recording and a copy of the slide deck in about a week's time. So look for that in your email. It'll be sent to the email address that you used to register for this info session. Okay, thank you. Good night.